is a digital marketing consultant. He has even done digital marketing consulting with Accenture, the big consulting firm, and then has gone on from there to do a lot of his own digital and web consulting, things like SEO, link building, funnel building, advertising, Facebook marketing, and a variety of other areas with some great expertise in that. He also builds his own online courses in the marketing area. So not only marketing courses, but building courses around marketing, SEO, and link building. And excited today to talk to Ryan Stewart from Webris. If you want to learn more about Ryan, you can find out about him on his Facebook page, facebook.com/hello Webris. Webris is Webris. Just like it sounds. So welcome, Ryan. Great to have you here. Excited to learn from you and see how you're building and marketing your online courses and some more information about some of the funnels you're using through Facebook and other areas.
Yeah, I appreciate having me here, Greg.
Great. Welcome. So get started. I mean, your background is you've done stuff in Accenture, and I know we'll dive right into the core stuff, but just curious. So you actually started in the big consulting firms doing digital marketing.
Yeah.
How was that? How did you make that kind of transition to the self-employed and doing your own consultancy and Webris?
Yeah, I graduated undergrad in 2009 and got very fortunate to get a job with Accenture right out of college when the economy was really bad. And I was doing a lot of big implementations, mostly analytics, and eventually started pushing into digital marketing within Accenture. But, I'm not even really the entrepreneurial type. If this was 20 years ago, I'd be on the fast track to, corporate life. But, I just started looking around me and realizing how many tools were available and how many opportunities were there for even non-entrepreneurial introvert types like myself who are doers for the most part. Just so many opportunities. So I just started kind of pushing off on my own and building content online, and people were finding me and hitting me up for consulting. So eventually I got into consulting. I still do consulting and contracting. I now have an agency just due to the full demand of too many people coming to me for consulting. So Webris is a full service digital agency. And then I eventually just launched my first online course. I never thought I would just because I'd been burned by so many people in the past when it comes to internet marketing products. But I figured it was the best way to scrape the market. I was doing one-on-one consulting with people. I was doing agency services with people, but I was still leaving 80% of the market of people that were coming to my sites that were just looking for advanced information and help. So I built this course, and it's been going really well. And now, I'm hitting all three parts of the market and really able to monetize all aspects of traffic coming to the site. So it's pretty exciting stuff.
That's excellent. Yeah, and that's interesting you say that, because I do see a lot of people who are speaking recently with a guy named David Meerman Scott who does newsjacking, and he said he came in, he had the really expensive speaker tour going, and then he had a low entry price point for his book, $20, $30, but he had nothing anywhere in the middle. So it was $20 or $30,000 plus dollars. And so getting those courses really got that middle ground. And as you said, it picks up that 80% that are looking for some middle ground. So and you can always then leverage them up to coaching or clients or other things. But that's great to see you're taking advantage of that there.
Yeah, it's I didn't realize how big the market. You hear all these stats and stuff, and you hear about success with people having when they're building our online courses, but you always kind of say to yourself like, oh, I couldn't do that. It's not really what I do. And the success in the last month of launching this course, just to kind of my own personal circle and people that have been, following my blog and stuff like that, has been tremendous. And it's something that it's going so well, I could do full time. So it's exciting. It's cool. It's definitely a good way to monetize, that traffic that comes to your site. That's not obviously going to pay you, 5 figures a month for retainer. So there's a huge market for it. It's really crazy.
So what are that's great that you actually made the transition recently, and I didn't realize it was that recent that you did the launch. And you're seeing some great results. That's excellent. What, if there's some, for people who are just getting into this, what would be some of the big wins that you would say focus on from a marketing perspective initially?
Number one, it's about the product. What you create has to be valuable. I can't really stress that enough, because honestly, and this is not just online courses, anything really, but specifically with online courses, because there's so much kind of garbage out there, specifically internet marketing courses. Mostly are just teaching you how to sell stuff online. It's kind of ironic, actually. Yeah. Focus on building a product. And in the course that I'm selling, it's specific to link outreach. And it really solves a problem that marketers have, specifically SEOs. Anybody in the SEO industry knows that link building has always been tough, and just how difficult and stringent the algorithm's gotten with the quality of links that you need. There wasn't really a solution out there for agencies. So I even niched down, I built something of value, but I niched down. I'm focusing on kind of that individual entrepreneur and people that want to be able to scale link building across multiple clients. There was nothing out there for that. And there was not even on blogs and stuff. So I just kind of started with a hole in the market, right? And it was something that I was doing internally. And then I just listened to feedback from people too. Once I built the original course, I gave it to a few people and I asked them for feedback. And I can't really stress that enough. I mean, I literally gave it to people. I said, hey, look, I'll even pay you to take this and give me your feedback and don't hold back, because, I need this to be good. And people did. And, what I did, I started reformulating it. I actually went back and rebuilt the course based on the feedback and focused it on process. So, I mean, what I learned from this was that you can go to any blog, you can go to Moz.com and learn everything you need to know about SEO tactics, but what it doesn't have is the process. Right. And when I started looking at a lot of what people were having success with courses, they were talking about process. They weren't specifically calling out that it was a process, but they were saying, this is a process, this is a system. Yeah. Because information is free now. I mean, you can go to YouTube and learn, get an MBA, but you can't get the process for how to execute it. So I focused my course on being step-by-step, process-driven, building a system internally, and then really being able to take that training and pass it off to people that, staff, virtual assistants, whatever, to be very siloed, very organized, and just taking information from the web, how to guest post, how to do link roundups, how to do resource page broken link building, and putting a process to that and step-by-step, very highly organized videos. And that's ultimately why it's successful. And then the marketing that I'm doing on top of it, which I'm happy to talk about as well. But ultimately, I mean, focus on the need in the market and, who it's going to benefit, and really blow that out to an extreme, because the best marketing is people who have taken it, that are willing to get on camera and say, this is amazing, I learned from it. It's the best marketing you can have, honestly. So. Excellent.
That's great. And yeah, I couldn't agree more on the step-by-step. That's great to hear you say that, because I do think it's very, very different, the online learning space, than say someone going to a university and taking a degree to get a job, or getting a degree to get a job. They're totally content to take biology 101 and just learn about biology. Whereas when you're going online to learn, I think people do have that expectation of, I'm going to have an outcome and you're going to show me the steps to get there. So it's good to see that you're doing that. You mentioned the videos of getting video. Are you actually getting some testimonial videos of people and sharing that way? Or
yeah, I put them on the landing page. What I did, again, I did like a kind of a soft launch for people. I have a good email list, and I've got a Facebook group too with about 5,000 marketers in it now. And there's some people that I've connected with, mutual respect type people, that I gave to for free, asked them for feedback. And then I opened it up just to my email list kind of. I just sent out an email and said, hey, I'm launching this course. If you want in, I'm willing to give you a discount on the ticket price. So I got like 15 users in, and again, got more feedback for a second round. Got really good feedback. So I was getting ready for launch. And I also told them, I said, hey, look, I'll jump on the phone and do an hour consult with you, really help you to build this in exchange for a video testimonial. So I got like 6 video testimonials, which help. I mean, everyone knows social proof, specifically in a space as competitive and crowded, and again, just kind of ridden with bad online trainings. Yeah. It was really, really, really important. Really important.
Excellent. That's great. Yeah. I actually, my first online course, I got a lot of video testimonials. Well, not lots actually. I had less than a dozen, and I went out and sat down with people in person, one-on-one, and interviewed them. But that's an interesting tactic I see you doing, is that, saying I'll spend some time with you to take it above and beyond the course, give me that video testimonial. That's awesome. And then you can just record it in a Zoom or a Skype or something like we're doing right now. And I think that's, obviously a big win when people see that someone endorsing a product who's used it, taken it, and gotten value.
Yeah, it works. It works.
So that's awesome. So that's kind of a flow of a little bit of how you got to launch and improving it from there. I love the fact that you did essentially a pilot at a discounted rate, got that feedback, and really improved from there. So in terms of the actual marketing and outreach or getting people to get exposed to your course, I know that's something that a lot of people who are just getting started maybe don't have a big audience struggle with. What are some of the big wins you've had there, or things that you'd suggest people do?
Yeah. So I had been building, I'm sure everyone now is familiar with Gary Vee, but the whole jab, right hook concept of giving, and then monetizing.
Yep.
I didn't even know who Gary Vee was. I love him to death. He's the best marketer on the planet right now. But I had been doing that just through blogging and just giving because I didn't have a way to monetize. So, going back a year ago when I really started blogging pretty heavily and creating video content and promoting it, it wasn't about, I didn't even have a right hook in mind, right? I was literally just creating for the purpose of creating it. I think I built like a micro following, nothing major, but a couple thousand followers here, a couple thousand people on the email list that were just heavily engaged with the content I was creating. So that, again, was what ultimately drove me to create the course because they were asking for more information. They were like, I can't afford to pay you, but do you have any more in-depth training, stuff like that? And it's kind of a way to scale one-on-one consulting, really. So that was what ultimately drove me. So I had a kind of a small engaged community that I was able to monetize pretty easily. But after that, and it was a matter of really two things. Number one was outreach, and number two was Facebook ads. And really the glue between all of that and really what's helping me sell the course is content, which I don't think people are talking about enough. People talk about content marketing, but putting a layer of content on top of the training or additional layers of content on top of the training that's really you're able to, you just can't promote, you can't do outreach effectively for a landing page, right? Because it's a sales page. It's kind of like, I do link building all the time. And I know that content is effective in SEO because you can really sell your product without selling it through a piece of valuable content. And you can promote that because it adds value to people, right? Like a product page adds no value, a landing page adds no value. You can't really market that unless you're doing like AdWords or point of search or ranks for SEO. So in order to market something like that in a disruptive manner, which is what advertising is, right? You're disrupting people's day. You've got to have something of value on top of that. So what I did was, and again, like I'm very anti-internet marketer. I know that a lot of internet marketers right now, their funnel is like, do what they call just-in-time webinar. So basically it's called a JIT Webby is what they call it in internet marketing slang. It's a pre-recorded webinar that you put on a piece of software and they run it with Facebook ads, they run it with banner ads, and it pretty much says, hey, opt into this webinar, it's coming up, just select the time and it starts in an hour, right? It's like you're not running a webinar on my schedule, right? So obviously it's recorded, but it works.
Right.
So basically what I did was I took it one step further and I recorded a webinar with no sales pitch in it. And I called out the fact that like, hey, I'm putting this on YouTube. You can watch it whenever you want. And I literally walked out the process of how we're building links for some really big clients, step by step by step, in like a 45-minute to the point webinar with absolutely no call to action. It was really a very valuable piece of content, right? I put it on YouTube, I put it on my blog. And then I used that webinar as two things. Number one was an outreach tool. So what I started doing was just following the process that's in my course, really, which teaches you how to find opportunities and then outreach to them and then kind of do it at scale. I did podcast outreach. I did webinar outreach, and I used that as kind of like the bait, that really good webinar that says, hey, look, I'll come on your podcast. We'll talk about this. I'll talk about how, we're scaling link building for this big company and we're, building 100 links a month for this big company. So I took that value from that and I started pitching that. But obviously underneath that is the fact that you can't really execute that process effectively without my training, right? So I added a layer of value on top of it where it kind of opened the eyes to the people who are in the SEO world that aren't overly familiar with outreach by adding that on. And then I could take that and market it. So I was doing outreach. I've been doing outreach for it. It's been working really well, getting on podcasts and just kind of spreading a net. It's not necessarily direct conversions, but, the way the web works now is that there's just so many different touch points. I mean, the more places that you can get, even this, even if 50 people see it, that's 50 people who didn't know who I was before that are now exposed. And then if they see a Facebook ad, they're just much more, able to buy. Right. And then the second part of that is Facebook ads. which is
I was just curious on the podcast side of things.
Yeah.
Do you have you figured? So I've done some podcasts, but one thing I've struggled a little bit with is the metrics behind it. Is you go on a podcast, they might have 30,000 listeners. How do you really know that they came from there? Now we've done a custom landing page for the podcast that they mentioned in the show notes, but most people they're listening to this on their phone on the way to work. They hear about you, they get to work, they Google you, and they find you. So it shows up as a direct, like someone who just did an organic search. Have you found any ways to? I really personally haven't seen too much perfectly tracked podcast results. Have you seen much that way?
No, I mean, it's kind of like old school PR, right? It's like if you're doing a book launch, you're just doing, you're going to Regis and Kathy Lee, all this stuff just on a micro scale, obviously, right? I mean, it's the same type of idea. You can't really track it, but it's just one of those things that works. Again, it's the way I look at marketing. It's not just about the direct sale anymore, because people. Even as an SEO, right, I know that people just don't go to Google anymore and type in like buy black shoes and buy black shoes. It's just not the way it works, right? So there's different touch points, and each marketing tactic that you utilize has a different goal. Like going on podcasts for me, I didn't come here expecting to sell trainings, right? I came here just to get my name out there because, 2 weeks from now, you might see an ad, or 2 weeks from now, you might see a guest post that I did, or 2 weeks from now, you might be Googling broken link building and coming on a post that I wrote on my site. And you're like, oh, wait, I know this guy, right? He was on this, whatever, right? And that connection right there, that's when people start to buy. That's what people don't realize. So, the goal of me going on a webinar is not even to drive traffic to it. I don't even track it, right? It's just more the fact that I know that I'm reaching a new audience that, eventually will reconnect in another way when they're looking for it, right? Or when I can reach them again. So to answer the question, no. I mean, it's very difficult to do cross-device analytics. It's just something that hasn't quite been developed yet, unless you do the direct landing page call or, do some sort of microsite or something like that. It's very difficult to track, but it just works, right? It's just one of those things where, the more people you reach, it's not going to hurt you. So that's kind of the goal of the podcast. It's not to just get out there and sell books. It's to spread value and just, continue this quest that I'm on. So
and that's great about the YouTube video with the no CTA. I've seen more and more people doing something. I got an email from Chris Brogan the other day that had 0 CTA or even a link in it. It was just sort of, I love working with you. And, it was warm and fuzzy and amazing. And it makes you that much more likely to read the next email and get involved in the next thing. So I love to see that kind of stuff. And for you to put that kind of value out there on YouTube with no CTA, that's awesome to see. And I think you're right. It's a big, big jab that's going to then help you with all the future right hooks. So.
Yeah. And I think what people, my course is, it's expensive. It's $850 for the smallest version of it. Mm-hmm. And I think what people don't really people are programmed when it comes to online marketing. Like people are like, oh, people will click on anything. Like you have to put a call to action. You have to do this, you have to make your buttons red because people will click more. But clicks don't mean sales, right? So if somebody watches a webinar with no call to action, what happens is that even if there's a call to action that says, hey, buy this training now, sure, they'll click on it, but it doesn't make them more likely to buy. What makes them likely to buy is the value that you provide in that content that you're displaying to them, right? So I could have a video with no call to action, or an email with no call to action, or this with no link to my site. And what happens is if people are interested, they're going to seek it out. Right? If somebody's interested, they're watching a YouTube video, they're going to see my name, they're going to Google the training, and they're going to find it, and they're going to buy it. Right? So to me, it's almost like a marketing play to pull back the call to action, just because, again, I like going against the internet marketing grain and saying, I get it. Internet marketing has these standard practices that everybody follows and they'll live and die by them. But man, times change. It's not always like that. And if you're able to kind of go against the grain just a little bit and connect with people, it just works. It really does. It works. So, it's just an effective method.
And our skepticism meter is so high online right now because so many people are trying to sell you something, and there is always that click here, go here next. And so you're right. I think it's almost a bit of a shock to the system. You get to the end of a video or a webinar and there's nowhere to click. You start thinking, where can I find out more about this Ryan Stewart guy and learn from him? I want to dive into the Facebook stuff, but I did want to ask you mentioned your price. How $850, as you said, at a low point, that's a pretty high price for an online course. How did you arrive at that?
Yeah. So basically a couple of things. I mean, I looked around. I mean, you know, I have no problem promoting. Brian Dean has a very similar course. Brian Dean's an amazing marketer. I've actually taken his course. Very, very similar in the sense that he's probably the only one that's out there that's also doing like an outreach based course. His is a little bit more focused on content. Mine's a little bit more focused on scaling for an agency.
Yeah.
I looked at what he was doing, the success he was having. Obviously, he's much bigger in the space. But I looked at that, and then I just looked at the value in terms of the sweat that, I mean, it took me 4 months to build this course. There's over 100 3 to 5 minute videos in there. Each one comes with a step-by-step PDF guide. Like, it's very, 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 4 months of my time. It was an incredible amount of sweat equity that went into it. That, and then also the value to customers. And just, again, understanding my target market. I'm not going after the beginner SEO. I'm going after the SEO that's been doing it for a while, that's either been using gray or black hat tactics, that just wants to switch. So they've been having success. They have a budget. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, you know, looking at where I am, you know, $850 for a course that's going to help me transition and really take these tactics and apply them to my business and instantly implement it for clients. You know, honestly, I think it's too cheap. And also it's for agencies, right? It's for internal training, what I wanted it to be. I wanted to target the digital agency that wanted to do outreach, wanted to do it at scale. So, you know, if you're a business, $850 is, it's nothing, right? You know, so it's what I pay for video hosting for my blog. You know, it's crazy. So understanding my target marketing and kind of the threshold for what people, in terms of the value that they get out of it, you know, I haven't really heard any complaints about it. And it goes up to, so the $849, just a tip for people. I mean, the way that I priced it also was, so there's 3 levels. There's $849, there's $1249, and then there's $1949. And I priced it so the $849 version, it's just kind of like old school marketing psychology, right? Like $849 was the value that I wanted from it. And by putting those 3 levels on it, so I said that, you know, if you're a single between 1 and 4 IP logins for the cheap amount. So if you're a single user, you want it for a small team, get the small version. And then, you know, if you're a bigger team, bigger agency, you get more IP access. And ultimately the biggest version, you have unlimited IP access. So you can share with people and stuff like that.
Right.
You know, I did that just because when you look at $849 alone, you're like, damn, that's kind of expensive. But then when you see it next to $1249 and $1949, you know, you're like, it's actually not that bad. You know, like I can get away with this. And it's so, I actually I thought when I first launched it, I was going to have an issue with pricing, but it honestly has not been an issue at all, you know? So that was kind of how I came up with the pricing.
Excellent. Yeah. And I'm hearing a lot of good stuff in there. Like you've got a really clear target as to who you're selling to. You understand what they're willing to dish out, what their alternatives are. But the big thing is you really tied it back to the value they're getting out of it. And you're saying, you know, you're at an agency, you're transitioning how you're going to deal with all of this stuff, and you know, and how you're going to deliver value to your clients. That makes the 850 nothing, and you know what kind of pockets they have. So that's great to look at it that way. Plus the framing of pricing. That's something I did with my initial online course, and it made a huge difference. Initially, I came out of one price point, and then I had 3 price points, and I drove everything to the middle. So the middle price point for me had sort of the ultimate value. There was very little in the bottom one, and the top one it was quite a bit more expensive and had almost nothing more than the middle. So even if someone called and said, I'm torn, should I get the really expensive one or the middle one? I would say, go for the middle, and they would buy it instantly. It was a no-brainer to go to the middle because that's where I put all the value for people anyway. So that's great.
It's the SaaS model. It's proven it works, you know?
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. So, hey, Facebook ads, let's not forget that. I mean, you got an amazing Facebook funnel. Can you tell us a little bit more about how that works? I know it's maybe not your strategy, but you know, how is it working for you? What are you doing for it?
Yeah. So, you know, it's one of those things where Facebook is like the hot marketing channel right now. Everyone talks about it. All of my clients are asking about it. They're really wanting to push their budgets from AdWords into it. The problem that most people have on Facebook is lack of patience, right? Because people think, like, for example, perfect example is like, you read all these like awesome blog posts about like psychographic targeting and like remarketing and all this stuff. And it's really not that complicated, but you know, people will invest in Facebook ads. And then I promise you, I hear this all the time from people when I tell people they need to from it. And it's because what they're doing is they're either not running they're not doing a good job with content. They're not doing a good job with targeting. in terms of targeting cold traffic, or they're just assuming that remarketing is going to solve all their problems. Like just because somebody came to your website doesn't mean, like, think about it this way. A standard website conversion rate is 2%. So if you're remarketing to that, you're still going to have a very low conversion rate because website traffic just doesn't mean buyer traffic, right? So like people go in with saying like, oh, I've got a really good remarketing list. Let me just remarket an offer to them and they're going to buy. It just doesn't work like that. You know, the key to success on Facebook is really, it's a combination of things. Number one is understanding how to use the pixel in custom conversions and custom audiences the right way, because it's key to building a funnel. So, you know, making sure that you're set up with tracking conversions in terms of checkouts, tracking conversions in terms of leads, that is set up in tracking. And then building custom audiences off of that is key too. And then the use of content. So that webinar is I actually built it for the Facebook funnel. So what I did, I built it, I put it on my website, and I've got the pixel on there, right? So I can remarket to it. So what I did was you build individual little funnels within Facebook. So, and it's all based on interest targeting. So for example, I targeted people that like Moz, the software, with that webinar offer. And I use all videos because videos are just really easy on Facebook. And it's a very specific video that talks to fans of Moz, and it says, hey, you know, using Moz techniques or whatever, like I put together this webinar. So it's specifically talking to them, right? And it connects with them that way. And that's running to cold traffic, that people that just like Moz. And then I'll run that, and then I'll run to the landing page. And then from that landing page, or not the landing page, from the webinar page on my site, I'm remarketing to that. So if somebody watched with a minute and a half of that video, that to me tells me that they're at least somewhat interested. That a minute and a half is kind of a long time on the web. So only then, if they meet that requirement, and again, this is based on being able to set up the right retargeting pixels and stuff like that in your site, I'm remarketing the landing page for them. So before they even get to the landing page, I don't even talk about that. And again, the webinar, I don't even talk about it. I'm just showing them, I'm finding people that are interested in SEO. I'm speaking specifically to them, and then I'm sending them a free webinar they don't have to opt in for, right? And again, where a lot of people go wrong with Facebook ads is they'll be like, oh, opt in to see the webinar.
Right.
And then what happens is they get them on the list and they don't convert because they just got onto the list to see the webinar. Right. So again, you're wasting time, and you're wasting money, and you're wasting energy by assuming that people want to buy just because they want to see your webinar. Right. So taking it one step further than that, you just use the webinar or the blog post, whatever it is, as interest bait, right? So you're aligning their interest on Facebook with the content. And then off of that, if they show interest, you know, you could do like some sort of click, you could do time on site, whatever that is, then you remarket the offer to them, right? So the offer that I have is I have a free trial course. So I have so then to that traffic, to that specific funnel, I'm remarketing the landing page. And again, I have this for all these different interest targeting, right? I have like a Neil Patel interest targeting. I have a link building interest targeting. There's all sorts of different, just amazing targeting within Facebook. And then, so I get them to the webinar, and then based on their interest in it, then I remarket the landing page, right? And then so there's a free trial. Anyone who does not opt in, they get another remarketing message. So they come to the landing page, and then I'm remarketing to them if they didn't opt in, right? If they did opt in, they go to a separate funnel. So if they opted in, then they get a message that says, of another video message that says, hey, I appreciate you checking out my webinar. I appreciate you checking out the landing page. Did you know that I give away a free trial of this course? You have nothing to lose, just opt in. And then of course, once I opt in, then I have an email funnel. But like that whole interest targeting right there. Oh, and then again off that. So once they've opted in to the free trial, sorry, I know I'm talking a lot. Once they opted into the free trial, then I have a final remarketing message. So if they have not purchased the full version of the course, which again, these are set up by pixels. If they have not purchased the full version of the course, then I'm remarketing a very specific message to them that says, hey, you opted into the free trial. I really appreciate it. I hope you got the time to check out the videos. If you did and you have any questions, let's set up, and you're like, I want you to buy, let's set up a time to talk on the phone. So I'm actually driving people to a phone call conversation with me, which has been killing it because you get a free consult and I talk to you on the phone, and I've closed all of them. So I'm almost taking like a direct sales approach to it because it's $850. It's worth 15 minutes on the phone for me. So that's kind of the basic funnel that I'm following, and it's killing it. I mean, it's really killing it. So basically now what happens is all I have to do now, because the funnel is set, right? If I can get people to the webinar, then the funnel is automated, right? And the email funnel that I have too is it's all automated. So now all I have to do is focus on getting people to that webinar page. And that's, again, where outreach comes in, because if I just outreach to, 100 bloggers and say, hey, will you share this on Twitter? The more traffic I can get to that page, the bigger that remarketing list comes, and the more people I get into that interest funnel on Facebook. Yeah. So I don't have to worry about any of that. It's really simple then as a marketer. It says, okay, I've got this really awesome webinar. Who else might be interested in it? And I can just go out and just push it to as many people as possible. And again, I can run different cold traffic from Facebook. I can run traffic from outreach, wherever it may be, right? The more traffic I get to it, as long as that person goes to Facebook, they're going to get caught in that funnel.
Right.
So
that's great.
That's why it works so well. So I just leave those Facebook ads on because I know they convert. And I set the cookie window to 7 days. So if you've been to that landing page within 7 days, you're just going to get caught in that funnel. And again, I can just leave that on for eternity because you're only going to get shown that message probably once. And they just get tumbled down. So I've launched it 30 days ago, and every day I just get a couple of sales trickling in from Facebook because I'm just going out and I'm marketing the hell out of that webinar and just getting people to that webinar on my site. And then once that happens again, then they're in the funnel. So
excellent. And I think actually circling all the way back to what you did with the very free webinar that's 45 minutes and has a lot of value, is that just makes it that much easier to go and share with influencers and other people, and makes it easier for them to share with their audience or email it out, because they're not emailing out even an opt-in. It's just, hey, here's a great resource. It's free. It adds good value. After you've watched it, there might be an opt-in, but they don't, it's not something where they feel they have to be kind of directly related to promoting you. It's just a great resource that adds pure value. So everybody's really happy to share that kind of stuff. So to kind of summarize the process though, so you've got multiple funnels based on interest in Facebook. That drives to there's a Facebook ad that is the call to action there that takes you over to watch the webinar. Is it sort of check out this free webinar on
Yeah. So I have every ad that I run on Facebook is a video, because again, I think seeing that person really helps, again, just like kind of growth hacking these multiple touch points online.
Yeah.
If you can see my face and hear my voice in that ad, that to me is a touch point, as opposed to just like an image of stock. Like people use stock images all the time. Like you're just gonna use a stock image of nobody when you can put your face on there. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a no brainer. So every touch point that I have with that person, it's a video of me talking. There's a picture of me on the website. So it's very personalized, right? Yeah. And again, the videos that I'm running too, it's speaking to their stage in that funnel. So like the cold traffic that I'm running, it's saying, hey, like I know you're an SEO, I know you're a monster, whatever it may be, right? And it takes 2 minutes to do these videos. I'm just, personalizing the message the whole way through. So again, I'm targeting these people, and the video just says, hey, I've got this awesome webinar. There's no opt-in. It's on YouTube. You can watch it there. You can watch it on my site, wherever you're comfortable with. Come back, watch it later. It's going to show you exactly how, and then the benefit, right? It's going to show you exactly how we build, 100 links a month, or how we do outreach at scale, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
And then again, when I'm remarketing to you, you watch the webinar, and then I'm remarketing to you, you're seeing my face, I'm talking to you again, driving to the landing page, seeing my face, talking to you again, driving to the opt-in. So it's just like, it's a constant process where by the time people get through it, they not only are highly interested in the content, but they feel like they know me. They feel like they're comfortable jumping on the phone. They feel like it's sincere, it's genuine. Yeah. It just works. It works really well. So.
Yeah. And I mean, you're building your brand throughout that whole process, right? You're right with the stock images. As you put your face on that, the more and more you do that, that's what all the influencers do. That's where you're building that influencer brand.
Yeah.
So I'm on Facebook. I've liked SEO Moz. So you flagged me. I see your ad, which is a video that says, hey, you like SEO Moz? Come and check out this free webinar on outreach and link building. I click through, I go to your site where I watch the webinar for free. That tags me in Facebook through the retargeting pixel. At the end or partway through that webinar, I've got the option to opt in. At that point, is it right to the free trial of the course there?
No, it takes you to the landing page. So I want to get people to the landing page first, because there's a lot of value on that landing page that really talks about, like I have another video on that landing page too that actually walks you through my analytics, just to show you the ridiculous increase in organic traffic that my personal site has seen, like a 1,500% increase in organic traffic year over year. Crazy, right? Yeah. So I'll walk you through the analytics, and then I actually do kind of like a back end look into the training, so people can see it, see how easy it is to use and stuff like that. So I wanted to get people to the landing page,
Yeah.
because you can not only opt in, but you could buy it there too.
Right.
And I don't want to just bypass the option to pay for it right up front if somebody's really interested. So
Yeah.
that landing page is crucial to the whole process. But yeah, that's how it works. And there is when you get to the webinar on my site, there is a button that says check out the full training underneath it.
Okay.
People did want to click through, and they do. You know, I'm actually converting a lot of people just on getting people to that webinar. So it actually saves me money.
Excellent.
Yeah. But again, yeah, I'm thinking just the whole process. I try and like to just go out of the way to do it all, you know?
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
So the flow then, Facebook ad to, video in Facebook takes you over to the landing page for the course, where you have actually another free video and talk about the course. At that point, they can go free trial or they can go full paid course. If they go free trial, obviously there's another funnel of emails reminding them to go in and purchase the course, and then even the opportunity for a consult phone call to do the sale there. So you have multiple touch points where you're giving them the opportunity to buy, but you're actually giving them value at every touch point, right off from that video on Facebook, the video on the first webinar page, the video on your landing page, and then the consult call. Plus, I guess at every point along that way, you're tagging them with the retargeting pixels and then using that to hit them with more ads in Facebook to drive them through to the next step.
Yeah, exactly. The email, I use ActiveCampaign for email. The email list too, and this is what I was talking to someone about the other day, is that because I wait so long to get that opt-in for the free trial, like I don't even talk about it on Facebook, right? I'm not even like, I don't use lead ads. I really want people to see the whole thing. Yeah. You know, I've generated in the last month, it's been like 620 free trial users. Yeah. So a pretty good amount. In the open rate, the average, and then it's a 7-day drip campaign because it's a 7-day free trial. Yeah. Each email goes at 4:00 every single day, and it's value, right? And I also have the email list split into 2 times too. So it basically the email list is option 1 is if they have not watched a certain level of videos, it's kind of like a remarketing with an email. It's driving people to use the trial of the course, because I firmly believe if you're interested and you see the value in the free, you just watch the videos and you'll want to buy it. So the first email list is saying, hey, watch the videos until they watch the video. Then the pixel on the training domain fires, and they get migrated to the second part of the list, just kind of splits.
Yeah.
And that one is driving towards purchase. That one is saying, hey, you did the trial. Like that's when I start to hard sell once they get to that part of the list. In each email that I have, it's like, it's almost like a micro case study. It'll be like, how we built links for an online casino. That's the first email. And it has a 90% open rate and a 50% click-through rate. In the whole crazy, right? The whole list. I was surprised myself.
1990s statistics.
It's crazy. But I firmly believe in the whole list average has an 80% open rate and a 45% click-through rate. And I just took a screenshot. I wish I had it. It's crazy. And I firmly believe it's because of the amount of time that I waited to get people into that email funnel. It wasn't like, hey, opt in to get this webinar. It was, hey, watch the webinar. Hey, check out, the landing page. Hey, check out the free trial, right? And then once they're in it, I know they're interested. They're highly, and the data shows it, right? So yeah, it's just a highly effective, and I stumbled on it too. I don't even want to take full credit for it. I just kind of did it because I've never really been like a good hard seller. I'm a marketer, not a salesperson. So, and I opted into like some of like the biggest internet marketers email lists to see how they were doing their email marketing too, because this is actually new for me. And I was like, this is terrible. Like, it's just like 5 emails a day of just like me, like old school Infusionsoft, just like really bad looking template, like poor design. It's just like really long form. It's like, people are out of touch, man. Like I know myself as a business owner, like if you email me something that's more than 2 lines long, it's not getting read. It's not happening. You know what I'm saying? Like get to the point, and why are you emailing? Like get to the value, right? And I think that gets lost because again, people think that like just because you're on the email list, you want to buy. Mm-hmm. It's like, no, you're on the email list because you made me get on the email list. So, so there's again, this whole concept of just like providing value. It's not about me, it's about you. And like, how can I benefit you? And how can I better reach you when you want to be reached? All this type of stuff that is the core of online marketing right now. Yeah. It's just like traditional internet marketers just like throw to the wind and just like are happy with like a 5% conversion rate on their email list when it doesn't have to be like that, right? So yeah, I mean, I myself am crazy surprised at the success of it because, I thought I was going to do okay, but like I said, I mean, I could make a full-time living just talking this course now. It's crazy. So
we're allowed to hear.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's awesome. Well, we're going to have to get you to put together a course on how you did all of that for marketing courses. Like, I mean, just so many bits of gold in there, from how you kind of came up with the topic and researched the space, how you ran the pilot project and got the feedback and then refined the course from that. And then of course the whole outreach and how you're actually marketing it in funnels like that. I'm sure that's not the only thing you're doing to promote it. So if you're ever interested in teaching more of our audience how you're doing it, that'd be awesome. I mean, but I'm sure there's much more in terms of the procedural and step-by-step that they can pick up from you too.
Yeah, I thought about writing I just haven't had time, but it's literally on my to-do list to create about it and just tell people, because I think it's something that needs to be told about, selling stuff online. It's easier than it ever was. It just takes a lot more work,
Yeah, great. Well, if you do, let me know. We're happy to help you get the word out about that too.
Yeah, I will, for sure.
Awesome. Well, that's great. Anything else to add? I mean, for people watching, this has been Ryan Stewart, really educational. I think there's a lot of stuff. I'm sure people will be kind of rewinding and rewatching to figure out how to do some of these funnels. But just want to thank Ryan for joining and sharing his Facebook funnel and a lot of the other tips around online courses with us. That's really appreciate it. Thanks, Ryan.
Anytime, man.
And yeah, of course, if you want to find out more about Ryan, check out it's facebook.com/HelloWebris. HelloWebris, and we'll throw that in the links below too for you.
Yep.
Great. Thanks, Ryan.
All right, bye guys.
Okay.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. If you're looking for more information, check out the resources below. Leave a comment, ask a question. I'd be happy to answer them. You can also check out thinkific.com right here. Or if you'd like to subscribe for more information, subscribe here. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you again soon.